and let us all do we can to build a better future.
That is. So there we go. But now let's move on to our next segment of the day. Occupy Democrats want to cancel Joe Rogan on Spotify because he told people on his show, vote Republican, which, look, we already talked about it. If I had that kind of platform and the kind of audience that Rogan had, I would tell people vote third party. But guess what? I'm a free speech absolutist. I believe in free speech. If that's what Joe Rogan wants to say on his show, hey, that's his show.
It's got his name on it.
But I'm not going to sit here and tell Spotify to cancel somebody because what? They said something I didn't like? Okay. Vote Republican. That's not offensive. All right? I mean, that's just, I would tell you don't vote Democrat or Republican, but that's just me. That's just me. And if Rogan were to ask me that question, hey, who would you vote for, Democrat or Republican? I'd vote third party. I'd vote independent. I'm not going to waste my time with the two-party system, but apparently Occupy Democrats want to waste everyone's time with another cancel Joe Rogan thing, which I think is so stupid. I think it's dumb. So let's play this video. It's from Fox News. Let's hear how they somewhat get it right and wrong. So there we go.
Again, how'd this work out for you the first time? Spotify facing a boycott over comedian and podcast host Joe Rogan's advice to voters in response to Democrats' mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to, recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it. So what do you tell those people? Vote Republican.
A far-left activist group called Occupy Democrats is calling for Spotify to drop Rogan, who they accuse of, quote, ignorantly urging Americans to vote Republican, which they claim is dangerous rhetoric as the GOP embraces full fascism. Spotify facing similar backlash just a few months ago when musicians like Neil Young pulled songs from the platform in protest of Rogan's COVID-19 commentary. My guess is Rogan's not too scared this morning. Ash.
I probably would guess with you, Todd. Now
again.
All right, let's stop this right here. Huge shout again to Case Study QB, who's wrongly being censored by Twitter. Please be sure to support Case Study QB as he's only posting content on his Twitter account with just clips of corporate media, but yet Twitter, if you go there incognito, says that Twitter page is very dangerous and has sensitive material. It's the kind of warning you get for a pornographic site or Twitter account that's with a pornographic site. But all he's posting up there is clips from corporate media. That's all he's doing, clips of corporate media. It's not anything else. So here's my takeaway from this. Well, number one, at the end when they mentioned Neil Young and a whole bunch of other musicians removing their songs from Spotify, they're back on Spotify again. And Occupy Democrats, I mean, I don't know who's running that account or who thought it'd be a brilliant idea to start, let's cancel Joe Rogan again. People are taking Rogan far too serious, okay? Even Rogan would probably tell everyone, hey, lighten up, all right? Because he's not the end-all, be-all decision about a policy that's being implemented here in the United States. You want to know who's implementing draconian policies? Democratic and Republican lawmakers. You want to know who screwed up the COVID-19 lockdowns in 2020? It was President Trump, who was a Republican, but he was also surrounded by Democratic and Republican lawmakers. And surprise, surprise, when Trump was defeated in the 2020 election, Biden and Harris still implemented a lot of Trump's foreign and domestic policies. And people are still being evicted from their homes. People are still losing their small businesses. People are being evicted from their apartments. We don't have a stable infrastructure where we got money in politics. So as far as I'm concerned, don't support Democrats or Republicans. And I think with Occupy Democrats just going after Rogan, it's a waste of time. And I am against cancel culture and censorship because we here at Hardlands Media have been hit not once, but 7 freaking times by ridiculous YouTube strikes. And I'm against it. I'm against what happens to a lot of our fellow colleagues in social media. I believe that everyone should have a platform. And if, yes, there are bad people in this world, but you want to know how you defeat the bad guys, the really crazy people who give out hate speech? I believe that the world's filled with good people. I say everyone gets together, use speech, and derail said person. Defeat them on the debate stage. It can be done, but by canceling, all you're doing is creating bigger echo chambers, and I am against that because I believe in free speech. So we're not all going to agree with each other, but Occupy Democrats, you're out of pocket. Lauren?
Trying to cancel a person because they told other people to vote in a way you don't agree with is always going to be very extreme. And it didn't work the first time. They weren't able to cancel him when he was promoting people with false ideas about vaccines, and like, again, I understand why like Neil Young wanted to pull it. I get why he took his songs away. If
He put his songs back.
he put his songs back, and again, everything's lip service these days with everything. But it's like, guys, it didn't work the first time. Why do you think it's going to work this time when what he did was so much less sketch? Like, it's telling people to vote in a certain way. I mean, you do that all the time. You tell people, vote third party.
Yeah, vote third party, vote independent.
Like, how... it kind of boggles my mind that they're trying to, all Republicans are fascists. And it's like, some of them were, and are, I'm sure. Like,
but not every single
voter.
voter.
But not all of them. And just because you're voting that way doesn't mean that you're equated with fascism. I don't know, like, the leaps that some of these people sometimes make. And again, I understand it. They're trying to create enemies of each other. They're trying to, like, stir the waters. They're trying to, if you build up another person as the bad guy, you can get more people on your side. Like, I understand the underlying reasoning behind why they say the words they say, why they use these, like, terms like fascist. Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, what we've been saying all show, we need to stick together as a people and listen to each other and look at who the actual enemy is, who are the people who are putting us at each other's throats. And, I mean, like they said it even in the intro, Joe Rogan's a comedian. Comedians will say anything.
Yes, and look, I think I want to take this word from Eleanor, who says, these celebrities are clowns. Who cares what they say? These guys always challenge the status quo. That's how guys like Joe Rogan make money. Censorship is not the answer. Now, Rogan is entitled to his opinion. The only thing I would have done differently if I was in his shoes, I would say, vote independent, vote third party, build organizations that are not connected to Washington, D.C. That's what I would do. But guess what? People would vilify me by saying, oh, you're supporting third parties and independents. You want Greens and Libertarians and Socialists or non-affiliated parties to actually get into office. You're dividing the vote. You want to, and that will help Democrats or Republicans. No.
People are going to say that you're throwing your vote away by voting third party. And
and they're going to say, oh, people like you are the reason why Bush got into office by supporting
or
NATO.
Biden, or Bernie didn't.
Or either that by saying, oh, you're the reason why Trump got in office because you voted for Jill Stein, or,
Yeah, that's what they'll say.
And it's like, no. Look, I believe that people should vote third party. I think that that's far more constructive than
also,
voting
it's the
Democrat or
Electoral
Republican.
College who decides these things anyway.
Yeah. You the voter, have no say in it. So there you go. But I think people need to just calm down and realize that Rogan is a comedian. He's a podcaster. He has a very successful show. Occupy Democrats. You really want to challenge Joe Rogan? Why don't you have a successful show like he does? Why don't you try and reach out to the millions upon millions of people worldwide and get a platform too? Now again, Occupy Democrats has platform and all this else, but I mean, do it. I mean, if you're as strong as you say you are, if you believe in your message, go. Show us what you can do.
Actions.
Actions, not statements. Deeds, not words. So show us what you can do. Otherwise, I ain't canceling Joe Rogan, and I'm not going to cancel anyone else. You want to defeat somebody? Debate them. Challenge them. Have a conversation instead. Talk to them. Find out why do they think the way they do. But censorship is only going to open up a Pandora's box of more trouble.